Welcome to Royal Court Sports Talk. I'm Troy Everett.
DJ Drumtastic.
Man, today we're going to talk about the decision that the NCAA college football made for the Final Four teams.
How about the whack decision?
Yes, the very whack decision that they made. Somebody should lose their job. Some of those people should be off the board or the council or whatever, the committee. They should be fired off the committee. That's just my personal thing. So if we go look at the rankings, right? The college football rankings, college football playoff rankings. It has Michigan number 1, go blue. Washington, Texas, Alabama, Florida State at 5. The AP top 25 is Michigan, Washington, Texas, Florida State, number 4, Alabama, number 5. The AFC-A coaches poll has it Michigan number 1, Washington 2, Florida State 3, Alabama 4.
Okay, so wait a minute. Why Georgia lose one game in the championship and now they way down? What is wrong? You right. Is there a bunch of robots picking this shit? What the fuck?
I don't know. If you look at it though, okay, you got Texas is in, right? They won the championship,
right?
No, Texas has a loss.
Okay.
Yep, Texas has a loss. And that loss was to Alabama. Okay? Texas has a loss, and they lost to Alabama early in the season. Michigan is undefeated. Washington is undefeated. Florida State is undefeated.
Florida State didn't get in.
No, right? Florida State did not get in. They weren't voted in for the playoffs. Georgia is out after one loss. Alabama has one loss. They should be out. Florida State should be in, playing for the national championship.
Because Alabama lost in the beginning of the season. Georgia went all the way through and lost at the end, so I don't understand the logic of replacing. Okay, they always say the SEC champ will be in the playoff. But is Alabama the best team in the SEC?
Are they the best team? No, I think Georgia was.
Say now that
they beat Georgia, but they lost to Texas.
Right.
So Texas is in with that one loss, which was to Alabama.
So they definitely shouldn't be in there.
Who, Texas?
No, I don't think they should be if they lost to
Texas Alabama. Went to Alabama and won.
Oh, wait. You're saying Texas beat Alabama. That's their one loss.
That's their one loss in Alabama. Ooh. Alabama goes to Georgia, wins in Georgia. Fine. That should have kicked Georgia out of the playoffs. And allowed Florida State to make it.
Okay.
If you're looking at just basically record, right? If you're looking at the record,
right, you're right.
So I don't think Alabama or Georgia should be in the playoff. I think Florida State should be in the playoff based on, sometimes they talk about, the what's the hardest schedule, who's had the hardest schedule, and there's all kinds of different factors they supposedly use. But at the end of the day, it's all about the record. Doesn't matter how you won, you got to win. You got to win. Just like the NBA. Could you imagine if you go into the NBA or any other sport and it's time for the playoffs and you have a committee that picks the people that get in?
They will be picking the teams that they like. I mean, we all know that Alabama is in there because of money and politics. But if you look at the whole breakdown, there's other teams that are undefeated who should be in there. But because Alabama is that, whatever they want to call it, college football need to get to the record and not people picking who they want. Because when you got people picking, they're biased.
Right. So that system's going to change next year. So it's going to be a 12-team. Yeah, it's going to be a 12-team playoff. So they can just say, for this year, hey, let's rake in this dough because, Alabama travels, Alabama, Michigan is going to get more eyes than, Michigan, Florida State.
Right.
So let's make
Mm-hmm.
this money. We don't care about those young guys who are going to college, getting an education, trying to get to the league. We don't care about those kids at Florida State. They are still kids.
Right.
We're going to cheat them out of a championship.
Yeah, so we can make that money because we know, like you said, let me see, Florida State has a second string quarterback. So they're like, nobody
Third.
wants to see that. Or third, nobody
Yep.
wants to see that. They wanted to see the starting quarterback.
It doesn't matter.
Undefeated. They're still undefeated.
They won their last game with their third string quarterback. So they still got the W. They still won.
You know what I'm surprised? I'm surprised they even put Washington in it, period.
Why is that?
I mean, they're undefeated, but Washington is not a team that you would see in the championship game. When the last time we seen a school outside of Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, go and play in these big stages? Washington is not a team that gets to play on the big stage like this.
Well, I think that their schedule, the Pac-12 Pac-12 is starting to grow. So you got USC, they beat USC, right. They beat Oregon, right? So
that's their main reason.
Yeah, I think the Pac-12 is a hard. Well, it's starting to be a hard conference. It won't be a hard conference next year because, as you know,
they're moving out of it.
They're moving to the Big Ten. So now the Big Ten will have all the big, a lot of big Power 5 teams. So, and then there's a lot of, smaller divisions that are some undefeated teams, but they don't play a Power 5 schedule. So they get a bowl game. All right. So they're going to go to a bowl game. But yeah, the Power 5 teams, out of the Power 5 teams, Florida State deserves to get their ass whooped by Michigan.
They deserve to be able to play in that game, whether they lose or not.
And then again, like you said, it's politics. You got Nick Saban versus Harbaugh. They don't like each other. Nope. You remember a couple years back, Harbaugh was holding camps in Alabama, right? Football camp. So he was like, hey, man, you can't be doing that. So there's a little bit of controversy there. Makes for a good storyline. But still, man, they cheated Florida State out of a national championship bid.
They said it was a snub. It was a snub and disrespectful to the game of football.
Agreed.
For them not to get in and being an undefeated team, like you said, they beat Alabama. So, yeah, they do need to do some changing. They need to open it up so you let anybody and everybody play for that championship. Because think about it. If you open it up, you let everybody play, and you get a weird team like who
Liberty.
Okay, Liberty. They earned the right to get there.
Yeah, Liberty went undefeated. So even if you're a Power 5, if you're not a Power 5, throw them in there. Just like the college basketball March Madness. Depending on your record, you go into the dance. Whether you even if you're at the 15th spot, you're going to play the number 1 spot. You might get your ass bounced out, or you might be a Cinderella story.
Every once in a while, we'll get it. We'll get a Cinderella come out of nowhere, and it's exciting to see a team win that you like. Was it Gonzaga? Really? Yeah, and Gonzaga is up there every single year, and they're not know what conference are they in.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what a conference they're in.
It must be whack because they're always at the top.
Yeah. But they get there, right? And they don't have to worry about the schedule, difficulty of schedule or any bullshit like that, where they got a bunch of white guys that are going to see how much money the NCAA is going to make by commercials and shit like that. No, they get in because of their record. Now, Liberty versus Michigan, you know what I mean? In a round. I guess it would be more games are going to be played. Get rid of the stupid-ass bowl games. You got 18,000 bowl games that don't really mean shit. Get rid of the bowl game. But then again, that's money too,
Yeah, the bowl games are money because people are excited when they hear bowl game.
Right.
Oh, it's on New Year's Eve. The first 4 or 5 days, you see all these football bowl games. And it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. I mean, they're just creating bowl games for money. That's all it is about. You got the fucking toilet bowl. You got people in
The shitty bowl.
right. Honestly,
The
who
clog,
wants to see,
look, the clog bowl.
right? Who wants to see Central Michigan play Navy? Nobody.
But see, that's the thing. Um, Now not to talk about basketball, but
Mm,
nowadays in basketball, like you could sit down and watch any game and you're like, wow, I didn't know Sacramento. I didn't know these teams that always been are good now. And it's
right.
exciting to watch every basketball game this year because all these teams are very good.
Yeah, they're able to compete. I mean, the Pacers. I'm surprised at the Pacers how well they're doing.
Got in last night and knocked Boston out.
Yep.
Win or go home.
Yeah, and I kind of like that format because it keeps it exciting in the beginning of the year.
Yes. So
But
you think about it, a team that supposedly is not all that good can come through, win the in-season tournament, and just think how their confidence gonna be for the rest of the season.
yeah,
So
again, that's a great format. I'm glad they initiated that. The
they make a lot of money too.
NBA. Oh yeah, they're making a lot of money. I think it gets more views. It makes it more exciting. Star players won't tend to sit out because, like you said, what are they going to make? $500,000?
They make if they win it, they make $500,000 a piece. They also
Right.
got bonuses who ended up going into the round that sent you to Vegas. They got each player got $50,000 bonus, I guess.
Right. Well, and
But
again,
I think each step, I think they make a little bit of money. But then when they win it, they get $500,000 a piece. That's a lot of money. What you got?
yeah,
The bunch of players
that's a
and
great
coaches get
incentive.
that money.
That's a great incentive. That's a
That's
great
why they're
incentive.
fighting and choking each other out and punching each other in the back of their head and all that.
Yeah, trying to get that money. But the thing is, these kids don't get paid nothing. And well, I'm not going to say they get paid nothing. Now they got the NILs, that
They get their jersey sales from their money from their jerseys, don't they?
yeah, I'm not sure how it works. We'll have to do another show on that. We'll do some research on the NILs. But I mean, Deion Sanders' son is making all kinds of money, whether it's
All
on
kind got
social media.
commercials and everything.
Yeah, so
I
the
think they
kids are
need to
starting
go
to get
back.
paid.
I think they need to go back. I don't know how far. And they owe a lot of these college players some money, especially the ones who were top. Reggie Bush. Those
Yeah.
players who played like they played, they need to go back and compensate them. Even though he's been fighting to get the Heisman back and all that stuff. I don't know if he got it, but I read that he was trying to go through getting it. I wouldn't care about that trophy. It's in the record books. You cannot take it.
You can't take it from them.
Can't take it
But the
away.
thing
Yeah,
is- The thing is, collegiate sports make so much money. You know what I mean? While I was working for Bethune-Cookman University, there's one game, they call it was essentially a suicide game is what they called it. And they would go down and they'd play Miami. The school would get $1 million just for that game. $1 million. That's why they have it.
Is it like to see how good the team is up against like a big university like Miami, or is it just something they do?
I think it's just a filler spot. I think it's just basically a filler spot, basically a in-season game where you play somebody from, wherever. But every year, Bethune-Cookman University, really small, private school, goes down and plays Miami University, which is a Power 5 team. And they get drugged every year. So it's by 60,
At least they get
votes.
the chance. And like you said, they're making a lot of money.
The college makes a lot of money. It's $1 million. Some of those kids don't even have money to eat. You know what I mean?
Okay, question.
Go ahead.
You said college football makes a lot of money. Well, what football makes more money? Is it college football or is it the NFL?
NFL.
But
Let's just
But
go ahead.
A lot of people watch college football. They got really hype on Saturday, Sunday. You know, college football, you can watch it all week. It's going
Yeah,
to be playing. But, okay. I just see a lot more excitement in the college football game than I do in
yeah.
the pros.
In the pros, I mean, even this year, you look at the, the
The rating,
scoring rate, right? The scoring rate of how many points are scored, it's way down this year, way down. So there's not a lot of scoring, and not a lot of activity when it comes to really powerful offenses. It's bad football. It's really bad football being played in the NFL. And then again, you got to understand those kids are trying to get to the NFL to make that paycheck.
they
So
are.
once they get there to make that paycheck, that's a brutal sport, man. It's a brutal
It is.
sport. Um, so I just don't see the NFL players making the same effort as those
Right.
players in college. That's why you're watching college football. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's back and forth, back and forth. Them boys is playing and executing at a high rate,
And they scoring
high
some
success
points
rate.
over there. They
Oh yeah,
scoring some points.
yeah.
Big
Doing
time
some.
scoring some
Yeah,
points.
that's why I don't really watch NFL football.
I watch a
Uh,
little.
yeah, I watch a little. Oh, speaking of that, I'm not sure if you saw this on Arenas's podcast about the.
What are you talking about now?
Well, it had Kmart and Wallace, Rasheed Wallace on there
She
talking
Wallace.
about refs, and the thing in
Not with
between.
Stevie Wallace talking about refs.
Well, they had a point. They had a great point, man. They had a great point. They would get fined if they get technicals and this and that. Rasheed said he'd write a blank check to the team he was playing for, saying, "Hey, here's for my fines," because he knew he was going to get fined.
You know it.
But one thing that Kmart said about the situation between Chris Paul and the referee, right? The referee actually went up to Chris Paul and said, "How many playoff games did you win while I was referee?"
They
Guess
had
how
a bad
many?
history.
Guess how many he's won while he was referee?
Probably zero.
0.
He don't
But
like
think
Chris
about it,
Paul.
man. But think about this, man. Even in professional sports, what's bigger than professional sports? Sports
Nothing.
betting.
Gambling.
Sports betting is bigger than
Mm-hmm.
the professional sports. Could you imagine if you had these referees who are betting on these games, especially like the over under, which is like the over under is how many points are going to be scored in the game,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
if there's 48 points that are going to be scored in the game and people are picking the over, right? The referees could actually make a difference in sports booking and betting.
Yes, they can. And they're
And there's
getting
been
paid a lot of money for it.
and there's been several accusations of referees. Matter of fact, that the dude from Chicago. Matter of
Mm.
fact, black ref also. I think it was 2 years ago or last year. Black ref retired
Mm-hmm.
early because he was under suspicion of having a burner account where he was betting on games
Betting.
refereed.
That's sad. I noticed something too when I'm watching basketball games and the guy goes up for the layup and you're like, he got fouled. You know, they wait like 3-4 seconds before they blow the whistle. Is it just me
Yeah,
or is that why? Is it waiting
I
for the
don't know.
shot to go in and they're not going to call it? Like, what is it? Are they looking at each other saying that was a foul, that wasn't a foul? I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Because you're seeing a lot of obvious calls. It's like the game Georgia versus Alabama.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
wasn't we under 2 minutes in the 1st
Mhm.
half? Wasn't they supposed to go and look at that? Because that ball was on the ground.
Yeah.
Georgia lost the game. Well, they didn't lose the game because of that. They missed
Right.
that field goal. They could have tied the game. So you can't blame that one call, but what difference would it have made in the game? They probably would have scored anyway because they were just doing whatever they wanted to do on Alabama. Alabama defense didn't look like it was even a top. They didn't even look like the champs in that game.
No.
But Saban is a great coach. He did outcoach him. My thing
Yeah.
in that game was The quarterback is not a running quarterback. He don't like to move. They put pressure on him all night. He couldn't
all
do
night long.
nothing. So now, this is one thing I was saying. How valuable is a black quarterback now these days? Because if you can't
Right.
move out that pocket, and you can't move laterally to the left or right, or even extend the play, what good are you? Pocket quarterbacks are like non-existent now.
Yeah, and as the game's changed, I mean, you have people like Michael Vick. You got Michael Vick. You got Moon, Warren Moon, Randall
Randall
Cunningham,
Cunningham.
all before the time, all before their time. Whereas
Yes.
quarterback, was supposed to be staying in the pocket, but they nobody knew what to do with those guys.
Mm-mm.
Defense, they would drive defenses crazy. But as you see, as the game has evolved, that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm. And no standing in the pocket, because all they got to do is put pressure on you, go to a zone or whatever, put pressure on you, because he couldn't do nothing. He ran maybe once or twice, but I'm like, I haven't watched Georgia this year, and I'm like,
Mhm.
their quarterback look kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's a
Just-
5 year. The thing is, he's a 5 year senior.
You know what? I was wondering that, because so that means the whole time he's been playing, he's been champion too. So this would have been their three-peat. But I think the reason why they didn't make it was because didn't nobody want them to three-peat.
They got outplayed.
Would you want to see Georgia again? I don't think so. 3 years in a row, win the championship? Nah, too much money involved for them to be winning it 2-3 years in a row.
Well, they got outplayed.
They did.
I'm not going to take anything from Alabama. They just got outplayed.
They did. They got outplayed.
They didn't come in and dominate like they normally dominate or had dominated throughout the year. Alabama, like you said, Coach Saban coached an excellent game and ended up beating them.
He outcoached them, and they outplayed them, and their quarterback outplayed Georgia's quarterback. So he was so comfortable, relaxed.
Yep.
He knew the decisions he was going to make, and he didn't even run as much as he really could have.
Right.
Because he is excellent at running.
So
this is going to be interesting to see who's going to make it in these to go to the national championship. Who you picking? I know who you picking.
You know who I'm picking. Michigan. Michigan, no matter what. They play Alabama. Whoever wins that game wins the championship, because there's no way that Washington or
now wait a minute.
Texas beats Michigan.
How you just gonna snub Washington like that? They've been playing great the whole season. Just because they're not a Power 5.
They have been
playing great. Your team?
Nope. I don't think anybody on that list.
If you wasn't a Michigan fan, would you say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Michigan has got the best team in the nation. Even if I wasn't a Michigan fan, they have the best team in the nation. They proved that. I mean, the NCAA has been trying to get at Michigan since this year started. You know what I mean? The head coach is suspended for 3 games for sign stealing, which everybody does already. You know what I mean? All teams have scout, so they suspended him for 3 games.
And he didn't even do it.
Right.
He wasn't the one. He had no knowledge.
He probably knew, but he ain't gonna say he did. But yeah, he probably knew.
You're right, though. Why would they single them out knowing everybody doesn't?
Again, they do that to Michigan every time. Even if Michigan is an undefeated team or as having a great run, as you see, they never hit number 1.
Right?
Why did they ever hit number 1? Why was Georgia holding that number one spot based on who they played? Michigan was going from 3 to 2, 3 to 4 after the game.
Around. Right.
It wasn't like, and they do that to Michigan all the time. Michigan is the most winningest college football program in the country. People just hate Michigan.
I got another question for you. So, Alabama, Michigan. Who you think is going to be the favorite? I'm thinking, if they play, it's going to be Alabama, because, like you said, Michigan gets no respect anyway. So they'll say Alabama's the favorite to win that game if they play.
Yeah, I think Michigan will be the favorite, but not by much. I think Michigan will be the favorite to win, but not by much.
Close game, blowout.
Very close game. It's going to be a very close game. The one thing that really worried me is when, I'm not sure if anybody saw that, but they showed the selection, the whole team. There's a wide shot of the whole team in a banquet hall watching the selection thing. And then when they saw Alabama come up, the reaction was like, ooh.
Like they don't want to see them?
And in the Michigan thing, they're like, ooh, because they thought they would eventually be playing Florida State. But when Bama popped up, they're like, ooh, we got a tough one.
Well, that's not to say that Florida State ain't tough. I mean, they go by schedule and all that, who they think are the good teams.
Right.
But how do you know, like we were saying earlier, how do you know who the good teams are if everybody doesn't get a chance to play, to see who's the best? Don't we want to see who is the best, period? I know there's a lot of colleges. Right. But you think you got all these different conferences. You just take each winner out of each one and boom, 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 and let them play one and done until we get to the final two. That would be so exciting. I don't care if it's Tulane versus Washington. It's a football game.
It's a football game, and I think that's what they're doing next year. I think it's a 12 team playoff, so they won't have to worry about this again. This has been, there's one year that University of Central Florida went undefeated, and they didn't make it. They didn't make the playoffs, So, this will give other colleges a chance. They knew they could screw up this one and get away with it. Hey, let's make this money. We're going to make this money. I don't give a shit that your son ain't going to play on the national championship team or them kids. We're going to screw your kids. That's what they do. That's what colleges do. Colleges screw your kids. They supposedly give them an education so they can make more money. Supposedly. So they can supposedly make more money. But man, you leave college and you got student loans, $100,000 in student loans, and you're making $30,000 a year.
Right. Exactly. And then, you think about some of the guys go to the pros and they never even got their degree, or they did, and they're just playing football. So they totally forget about that they went to college, they have a degree for this, and this, and they just play football.
Right.
The game last night, they were talking about one of the offensive linemen. I forgot what game this was, and they were talking about how he has a master's and this and that, and I was sitting there like, wow, they don't too much talk about the education that the pro football players have or don't have.
Right, and that's one thing about colleges is academics should come first.
It should.
Academics should absolutely come first.
Because you can go out there and get your leg broken and you can't play anymore. And if you haven't been on your academic shit, then you're sitting there like, oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get your leg.
Guys that play 2 years and they get a bad injury and they're done. What is his name? RG3? He's done. He only played, 2-3 years?
Yep.
I hope he took care of his money.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to definitely do when you get that bag. Take care of that bag. You don't know how long that's going to last.
Right. So I think giving the college players some money will kind of get them to have some money in their hand before they get to the pros and get that big contract, so you can at least, get an idea how fast, you think about it. A kid gets $20 million. They don't know how fast that money gonna go.
No,
they don't. After they done bought all the cars and the jewelry and gave the homies some money and all that, it's terrible.
Yeah, but you got to think about how much money do these colleges make off the sports.
A lot. You worked at Bethune-Cookman, you see the money pass through. You see the game
get a lot of money. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Especially these Power 5 teams. You got television deals, right? You got television deals. You've got appearances. The travel budget alone for some of these colleges is ridiculous. So they get a lot of money.
They're paying the coach a lot of money. He's got his own commercial, so he's getting paid there and making money.
Right.
So, yeah, it's if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Don't make sense. That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, we're not going to keep you long. That was a quick Royals court
longer than you thought, but
sports talk. Yeah.
we could have kept going though.
We could have kept going, but yeah, we want to keep y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, Troy Everett, DJ Drum Tack.
Peace.
Peace.